Naval Ravikant writes, "There is no skill called business." It's a bold statement to say there is no skill called business, especially when institutions and gurus are trying to sell you just this. Recruiters highlight business skills as a very important trait, while applicants boldly claim to have these skills. Is there such a thing called business skill, or is it just an empty word designed to mean a variety of things? Just look at the number of topics in Harvard Business Review that fall under this word. All academic knowledge is based on deduction, and that is a problem. Deduction simply means that if you are given a certain set of laws, values, and data, you can understand other relationships and facts. That is why when we solved a math or a physics problem back in school or college, we started with a given. Deduction is one of the most powerful reasoning tools we humans have created, but it's not always reliable. Euclid was the first to formalize deduction in his book Elements. When you understand certain axioms and postulates, you can deduce other geometric relationships. So this viewpoint translates to physics as well. Given Newton's law of gravity and the orbital positions of Earth and Mars, one can deduce the velocity required for a spacecraft to leave Earth and impact Mars. Now, given the act of you watching this video, YouTube will recommend something similar to you.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima.
After the atomic bomb showed that physicists could blow up entire cities using the power of deduction, many fields of study started to create their own deductive systems.
From the very beginning, even before I really had committed to economics, I got interested in how people make decisions, how they make choices. That's what we spend an awful lot of our lives doing.
Herbert Simon received the 1978 Nobel Prize in Economics for his theory of bounded rationality. This simply means that people do not make decisions that are economically rational, but whatever seems right at a particular moment, as opposed to the viewpoint of modern economic theory. Lowest income households in the US spends $412 a year on the lottery, and yet they can't come up with $400 during an emergency. I've discussed about how finance is more about behavior than mathematics in another video. Check it out by clicking here. Economics, like many fields of study, bases its argument on deductive logic. But Simon argued that past behavior does not always guarantee future behavior, and he was right. Herbert Simon was fascinated in the difference between natural science and design. He explained that natural science is about understanding the world as it is, while design is about understanding what ought to be. He observed that it was ironic that in this century, natural sciences drove design considerations from deduction. He noted, engineering schools gradually became schools of physics and mathematics. Medical schools became schools of biological science. Business schools became schools of finite mathematics. Deduction has replaced design in modern schools and colleges. It is only rarely seen during science fairs and major projects, and even that is mostly populated by projects based on deduction than trying to build something new. MBA programs will teach you about the theory of consumer behavior and the concept of market segments, but they cannot deduce a real-world marketing problem from this knowledge. You will be exposed to case studies of classic business strategy success stories, but you cannot deduce a good strategy from theory. Design is strategy and strategy is design. They are one and the same. And business is fundamentally a study of design or strategy. And strategy is nothing but an act of creativity. Treating strategy like a problem in deduction assumes that anything worth knowing is already known. This assumption, however, deadens innovation and leads to the stagnation of human civilization. Of course, studying the fundamentals of business like market segments or preparing a marketing plan is important, but to think that it is limited to a business degree syllabus is illogical. To generate a strategy, one must put aside the comfort and security of pure deduction and launch into the murkier waters of induction, analogy, and insight. Take chess, for example. Studying openings, moves, and tactics are essential and might help you win games over your peers and someone less experienced. But what happens when the pros play against each other? Herbert Goldhamer's description of play between two chess masters shows that their moves are not based on meeting the opponent or trying to win, but on improving their position. They will only launch an attack if and when they see a clear opportunity. Another observation from Herbert Simon was that better chess players were able to recognize more chessboard patterns than weaker players. When asked to verbalize their thinking, they found that they could not really explain their thought patterns. They would say, "My attention is drawn to QB5," unable to explain how they identify opportunities. This video was inspired by the ingenious works of Richard Rument. And the main idea is that strategy, like a business knowledge, should be problem-centric. And in his own words, a good strategy is, in the language of science, a hypothesis, and its implementation is an experiment. As results appear, good leaders learn more about what does and doesn't work and adjust their strategies accordingly.